of Dads.
Finally, they get it right. All right, who brought this Council of Dads?
All right. Should you let your kids win at competitive activities such as sports or video games? This is you playing against them, not should you let them beat other kids.
So there's a 30-second TikTok that sums up me and Phil. It's like, Dad, I'm going to beat you at Mario Kart. He goes, sure, kid, I'll take it easy. And the kid looks over and he's got the full racer helmet on and everything. Yeah, no, you never let your kid win.
Okay.
About 2 years ago, while I was still living in a different house with roommates, we had a giant 36-inch tube television.
That you got off TikTok Marketplace.
Yes, it was exactly as advertised and was about 400 pounds more than I thought it was going to be. And so,
like me,
we, yeah. And just like Charles, we plugged our GameCube right into its back panels. And it was very funny because I'm a retro gamer. I try to bring the kid up on retro gaming as well. And he's like, Daddy, I want to play Smash Brothers. And I was like, yeah, bud, we got that right upstairs. I brought it down. And he throws me the controller. And he's like, why don't you get some practice time in real quick before
Now, which Smash Brothers is this?
Before I beat your butt at this, Daddy.
Oh. How old is he at the time?
He would have been 6.
Okay.
And this is Melee. I have more time in Melee than I have anything else, right? And I was like, as wise and nerdy as I can, I said, okay, hold on to your butt, buddy. And so I got in my allotted practice time from my child, and I proceeded to swipe his face across the floor to the point where after 2 matches, he's like, I don't want to play this anymore. I was like, no. All you got to do is practice. All you got to do, bud, put your time in. Get your practice in. Huh? I'm just taking your advice, bud. Just put your time in.
Yep.
Practice.
That's the clip, by the way.
It's okay, son. You can have some practice rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Practice makes perfect, bud.
You lean in the world of lawn darts. How did you play with your kids?
Yeah, bocce ball, Kurt. How'd it go?
Yeah. Stick can.
Shuffleboard.
So I actually
Taste of rock.
So a couple of things with the games thing.
Jax?
My kids, like the early games that you get kids when they first can kind of conceive the board game thing, are things like Candyland, which are all luck based, right? There's no strategy or anything like that. And so those games I used in an effort to teach the kids how to win and lose gracefully. There was never a let them win thing ever.
Yeah.
And Kurt, I agree with that, man. I really do. I'm joking around with Smash Brothers, but we're not looking for handouts.
Well, so I'll give you an example, right? So when my son started getting into collectible card games, he started with Pokemon, learned that, and he knew that I played Magic and wanted to know how to play Magic. And I kind of taught him the basics, but you guys know Magic is weird, right? It's way more complicated. But back in the day, you could get a Magic starter set, which came with a CD that had a tutorial game that you put on your computer. Okay. And so, and I knew about the tutorial, and I said, here's the thing, take this disc, go play the tutorial. If you can beat the tutorial 2 or 3 times in a row, then we'll play. And once he did that, he came back. He said, "Yeah, I've got it now." I said, "Okay, we're just going to play. We're just going to play. I'm not going to tell you what you did wrong or anything like that. We're just going to play." And he did, and we got to that point where he won something. I won more because I knew how to play more. But like it was a little bit of back and forth. you just got to make them not feel like crap when they lose.
What? No, that's part of the game. Get in your face. You suck.
No,
It's just you suck.
no, there's a time for that. There is absolutely a time for that, but not in the formative years.
Well, I'm going to disagree. I like to take a word off of like the movie Grandma's Boy, where it's like high score. What's that mean? Did I break it? Oh, how? Oh, what's that mean? Yes and no, because like I do know as a father who is aging and getting wider instead of taller, like I'm on a ticking clock, right? I can still outmaneuver my child on the ice. That's not going to be. We are literally watching the pieces of sand go through the neck of the time dial.
Yep.
But like you're saying, losing graciously and being a sportsman about losing is something that I really like to resonate through my own kid, because you gotta learn it pretty young, because it's gonna happen a lot through your life, right?
Otherwise, you'll be that guy.
But what I'm saying is like, because you could take that, you could take like losing at a tournament for hockey and have it also reflect losing a job opportunity to somebody else, right?
Yeah.
And the way that you respond on the ice about losing a tournament, I hope will resonate when he gets older and be like, you know what? I wasn't the best candidate. I'm still going to write them a thank you email for the opportunity and not burn those bridges, but just be gracious in losing.
Yeah.
And so I like to bust my kids' stones about, losing in hockey and in video games. But I mean, to be honest with you, he's beaten me before in Smash Brothers, and he runs around this house. He'll pick up my telephone and he'll call Morgan and be like, Morgan, right?
Well, and great. I just want to comment on what you said about, sending that thank you email and everything afterwards, even if you don't get the position. The job that I had as of last year, that I had for 11 years, I wasn't the first pick for that. They picked someone else who didn't show up the first day, and they immediately called and said, you want the job? You want to start, next week? And I was like, yes, please. And so, just because it didn't work out at the beginning doesn't mean you don't keep trying. And I had kept applying to a lot of other places. I had a bunch of other interviews set up, but that one ended up working out because I didn't burn that bridge.
Yeah. And
way to play games with kids there, Joe. Cool.
Well, no. I'm going to agree, because like I have a very honest relationship with my kid. He's not 10 yet, right? And like, I'm a little bit more honest than a parent should be. If he asks me a question that could be a dicey answer for me, I'm going to give him the truthful answer on it, because I want to build that rapport that like, I've been through the muck, but it doesn't mean you got to stay in the muck. So he knows that I've been looking for a new job and not getting a new job. And I've been looking for this new job for about 2 years now, right? And so, to be honest with him, to see his father trying and still not getting it, I'm hope that it will install a tenacity of like, hey, you know what? Sometimes you run into a brick wall, and at some point that brick wall will crumble, but you just don't know when. So you just got to keep trying. And it's kind of, I hope it's installing a don't be scared of failure, because you're gonna fail a lot in this world, and the only person that's gonna keep you from pushing forward and keep going after it is yourself. So like I said, man, I'm very honest with the kid. He knows, like, he's like, hey, what about that one? It's like, no, you know what, bud? It didn't work out, but it's not going to stop me from trying to keep breaking through that brick wall.
To that point, have any of you cheated to stay ahead of your kids? Like there's like, I try to keep them hungry. I let them, if they honestly win, I let them win a little bit, but there's definitely times where I'll either cheat to end the game faster because I'm just over it, or they start getting a little mouthy because they won something. And I'll start, if I realize I'm not going to beat them, I'm going to cheat them. And I do that. And and nobody's ever caught me yet, but if they catch me, it's like, yeah, don't tell the others, because it's also a life lesson on when you think you're playing by the rules, you're not always playing by somebody else's rules. And you always have to pay attention to what's going on. Joe,
yeah, we play Uno. We play Uno in this house, right? If you're not paying attention to Uno, I'm putting a 7 down on your 1, and we're just gonna keep it rolling through, dude.
Yeah,
I cheated Uno constantly.
I will say this: y'all met Zoe. Zoe is a sassy 42-year-old in a 7-year-old's body, and she will start running her mouth. And we were playing. She wanted to play some games on the phone, so we were playing Skip Bo, and she had 1 card left. And let's say it was the number 1. There's 4 blank spots. She refused to play that 1 to win the game. She will play a bunch of other stuff just to toy, like a cat and mouse, just to like, no, I got this game. And she does it, and she's just mouthing off the whole time. Like, I hate playing with you.
Oh, so dude, I love it.
I know. It's a little Phil.
6s on 9s and 9s on 6s is what I do constantly on Uno. Because if you're not paying attention, that's not my fault. It's your fault.
Yeah. But Joe, what do you actually cheat your kids to stay ahead?
No.
Wow.
Such a liar.
I was gonna
Papa NASCAR is rolling over in his urn.
Such a liar.
Actually, I've talked about how my dad bought that specialized remote to play racing games with us, and there were times when he was in last, and he'd like shove us off the couch while we're in the middle of the
I've
race.
totally done that. I've knocked the controller out of their hand just to mess with them. But
Joe, just because their controllers are not connected doesn't mean you're not cheating.
How do you guys feel about using handicaps? Like especially Smash Brothers, for instance. A lot of the Smash Brothers games let you put handicaps on players.
That's handy capable, Joe.
Thank you, Kurt. Thank you. That is, at least somebody has some sense and sensibility in this place.
Jeez, Joe, come on.
Really
it's a
insensitive for a
family-friendly
Mormon.
show.